I'm also very disappointed.
Why?
Just so disappointed.
I don't like that.
The meeting is now recording, just saying.
All right. I call this meeting to order at 6:05. Please pull up the PowerPoint. This is what the agenda looks like tonight. We got a couple things to discuss. Remember, I did send a later email about resolution 3. It was not included in the agenda email. It is okay if we didn't get to read it. We're going to discuss it here tonight. Would anybody like to pray over the Center roll?
Dear Heavenly Father, God, we just thank you for a great return. We are back in session. We're just thankful that we were for work, even though that hurricane kind of pushed us back a bit. Lord, we were still able to you represent campus, even if it was on home. God, we are just thankful that we're able to sit back in these seats, continue the work that we have started, and God, praise you. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Thank you.
My bad.
Moving on, roll call.
Present.
We got that. Any changes or modifications to the agenda? Okay. Old business, approving October 16th meetings minutes. Chair's in search of a motion.
Second.
Senator Parks motions, President Pro Tem seconds. All those in favor of approving October 16th meetings minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Next item, passed. All right, moving on to committee reports, Judiciary Committee.
So the Judiciary Committee met, and we talked about kind of our plan with attendance. So we've already noticed that there's some attendance issues within committees that we've gotten from our chairs and our office meetings that we talked about. And we do plan on taking action on those. You'll get a warning. So we're going to meet next week. And you're already at like your 1 or 2 absences. We're going to be letting you know when that first absence happens to let you know, hey, you have 2 more, you know, or ask you like, what's up. And then also just making sure you're doing your office hours is also another thing that we're going to be checking on. And then we're going to be doing some educationals coming up. So that's it from us.
Appropriations.
For Senate and seeing that the Senate budget is now at 9,000.
Research and Marketing Committee.
Research and marketing did meet this week. We just went over some posts that are upcoming for the holidays and whatnot. One of the posts that is up now that I recommend that you all look at is the registration post, especially a freshman. Figure out how to register yourself on eLion. Be up there. It also shows you how to make an appointment with either your advisor or your success coach. And I recommend that if you're not already following the social medias, at least Instagram is St. Leo SGU. Follow that. We post a lot of information about things. We talked about town hall as well. That's been changed now on Halloween. And it's taking place at Kirkland. And Patty, what is the time? I just want to put sure. Patty,
The time for the,
the town hall?
The town hall will be 9:30 to
9:30.
Thursday, the 31st.
So if you guys want to come out and support that, that'd be greatly appreciated. Will also has a fun little idea just to kind of get our Senate out there. He wants to do somewhat of like a full house intro. Harry, Will, do you want to go explain that a bit?
Yeah, so I'm trying to get it done soon, and it's so I'm sure everyone here is somewhat familiar with Full House. If not, it's too popular, and basically in the theme song, it shows you the characters or whatever. So I think we could do that here. I was wondering if it starts only at right after the meeting, it'll take like probably 5 seconds per person, or we'll let you ride and look other way. So you can stay after 2 minutes and great. Start that, and then whoever's not here. So we'll try to get it.
And final survey taking place on the 29th during dinner, on the 30th during lunch. So if you all can stop by and take that, share that survey with your friends. The more people we get on that, the better we can advertise what we need to do. If there's any changes necessary. That's it.
everybody could just speak up so that the microphone can hear you over here as well, please. What? Never mind. But you need to speak up so you can be here.
Or a shot.
Yeah. The sergeant is going to come around with the microphone so everyone talks and then
Oh,
trash.
yeah.
Yes.
I
So,
did,
I'm sorry. Frank informed us that this microphone is real trash. So we're going to be using that microphone.
yeah, for context, for everybody speaking, the sergeant will run around with microphones. So both the secretary and the audio can hear it. We talked about it last year, we're trying to do it this year, where we actually record meetings so we can have a better record of it, and so the secretary can make sure her notes are actually matching. Yeah. I did have, so just a quick clarification for some people who don't have. What is the purpose behind the full house?
It shows energy stuff.
So like more of a marketing.
Exactly. It's just a fun way to do it rather than just like, I think the post announcing it's great, but you don't put a face to the name.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, act like you're writing, you're doing something funny, you can also bring that personal side to it.
All right, and yes. All right, so y'all hear me? Fine, yeah, okay. So we went over a couple things. The first one was the dock. The dock is off limits to everybody right now. So the dock is off limits right now. We can't go to it to assess what needs to be done. We did get some pictures from Senator Deemer as far as he could walk down there to see. Then we went into something that Senator Samantha thought of with LEAD, partnership with LEAD to try to get some donations to give to hurricane victims and anybody who needs it in the university after this disaster relief. And then we talked about a walk for breast cancer awareness, either off campus or on campus. I know October's dwindling down, but like we said, it's never too late to try to raise awareness about that. And then that was the conclusion of the meeting. We talked about t-shirt designs, which will come up later in the meeting. So that's what we did. So we first order new business. We did make a mistake actually towards the beginning of the year. We do have to confirm the Senate committees, and obviously now the Senate, it makes sense to do so anyway. So I believe everybody is and should be in the proper spots. I know you got put into philanthropy, those spots are available. So it's a simple motion of the chair's executive motion to approve the Senate committees.
I move to approve the Senate committees.
And it's just to finalize it, to formalize it, just so we know where everybody's at. So, chair's executive motion. Oh, you made the motion, I apologize. President Pro Tem made the motion. Is there a second? Senator Thompson seconds. All those in favor of approving the Senate committees for the year, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. You being the chair. Thank you. All right. Moving on to residence hall discussion. Quick brief about this. It was brought to my attention by Senator Brown that there are some inconsistencies and concerns in, was it in your residence hall? And I'm assuming potentially others that we may not. So she brought up to my attention that there are some issues happening with the residence halls. I do have on the next slide some pictures she did provide me. I believe I cropped the pictures just so it would show some information of like who sent their like but yeah, so I'm going to hand it off to Senator Brown to talk about this.
So, can you guys hear me? You guys can hear me. I would think we know how to clean up after ourselves, but unfortunately, not all of us do. The first picture is a picture of a trash can in the shower with ants. However, I got in all the showers in Intercom over dorms, halls, and getting inside the people's rooms. The third picture actually happened Sunday. Someone decided to go up in their coffin and sat all day and all night, and the janitor had to clean it up the next day on Monday. The third picture is where the ants got into from the trash in the shower and the laundry. So, and I've heard of other issues going on in other halls with people not being quiet during the quiet hours and just the bathroom looking utterly disgusting. So I brought it up to the Vice President so we could have the RAs do another meeting to stress the cleanness. And mind you, we text in the group chat and none of the RAs said anything. So that's another issue. The RAs aren't really doing much of anything. Yeah.
So I want to clarify also just basis of what this is. The whole point of why we meet here is you guys see issues and see issues. I commend you for bringing this up. And this should be moving forward. If you guys feel that instead of just talking about it in the committee or only a couple people amongst yourselves, I highly recommend that you bring it to me, and we will absolutely have a discussion about it here on the Senate. So my next question is obviously this is open discussion that we want here to but what are you looking for in this conversation?
Basically just to, like if there's any other issues that you guys know of, that's really for us to just discuss about it and like if your eyes are doing anything or anything like that, because this is just from my hall. I hear stuff from other halls as well, but my hall, I live in my hall, so I know best. So really to hear you guys' input and if you guys think it'd be okay just to have the RAs reiterate the rules and regulations of the door.
Does anybody have concerns?
So actually, I was trying to bring something here, but I didn't get to like prepare it. The other day, I was using the fountain in my apartment, and water is actually white. Like the water looks white.
Like translucent or like
Yeah,
cloudy?
yeah, no, like white.
Like his shirt?
Yeah, like his shirt. And it's terrible. Like I don't know how are you drinking it. Like this is the first time I was using a transparent bottle to like fill it up because I normally use my water bottle, which is cold. So I didn't know. So I used the transparent bottle. I see that the water is white.
Yeah.
It's and I wanted to like check. I live in apartment 2, so apartments 1 to 4. I know they are the oldest, so I wanted to check the other apartments. In apartment 2, I got to check the phone and it wasn't like that. But 3 and 4 I didn't. So probably they also that too.
Just to reiterate, I also live in 2. The first week I got sick, I think it was from that water. Because every time I drink from that water, until I notice it's not white. It's white, I must say. So
I do have a question. So because you noticed it in the fountain, have you seen the bathroom with white water or just at the fountain so far?
I've seen it not at my bathroom, but the first time. Well, I don't know if they put something like some water into the water.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do. Because like 10 minutes after the water bottle stopped being white, it was transparent. So I don't know if it diluted it or not.
Other members? No, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to add that I believe we are under a water boil notice. At least that's what I was informed. We're not. Okay. Never mind.
Senator Johnson, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so what I was going to add was what Aya said, Senator Brown, sorry. I was going to say that as much you're saying the RAs, but I believe that there's so much that the RAs can do because we're all, we're all grown adults, I should say, and we should know what to do. So I think it all comes with trying to get a sense of cleanliness out to the student population to let them know, listen, like, this is something that you should practice. I mean, even seeing these pictures, this is not anything that the janitorial department should be up to put up with. And blaming the RAs, or not saying that we're blaming the RAs, but putting it solely on them. I mean, there's so much they can do. I know for my hall, it's not like this, but my RA, she had discussions with us about something that happened with trash. And basically what she could say was, it comes to personal accountability. Like, you have to know to take care of your space, So yeah, I think it's.
So I think we're talking about 2 different issues. Like you said, there's only so much an RA can do. And we, as students, need to start growing up and taking accountability and, stop throwing our garbage in the toilets and stop doing this stuff. And if that happened on a Sunday, there's nothing the janitorial staff could do because the university doesn't make people work on Sundays, to my knowledge. I could be wrong. But with your problem with the cloudy water, I think we need to form a resolution to pressure the university into looking into that, because that's not a good thing at all. That's not a good thing. So.
I was just going to say that we can take these issues and kind of like find out like all of the issues that we found, and just have that conversation with Tori or Jose over facilities and res life before we write a resolution. I feel like a resolution for this would be like saving that for like more of the issues not addressed after talking with them. But a lot of it can be solved with just talking to them. And then I know when we have dining issues, like Justin said, the biggest thing is that people just don't report these things to them, so they never get to see the issue. They just hear about the complaints after it already happens. So I think it goes with anything you see raw chicken in the dining hall. Point it out to one of the cooks. They'll take the whole tray out. If there's an issue with, water fountain, put in a work order. If you don't know how to do that, ask your RA. They all know how to do it. They all got trained for it. Or ask Dawn for that. But that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Have either of you ever put in a work order for the water fountain? So when you see any issue on campus, regardless of whether it is in your room or in a building, in a public space, in a classroom building, anywhere, you can put in a work order. So, right, sometimes it's not a matter of nobody cares, it's a matter of nobody knows. Also, right, just because the water's cloudy doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, because, right, you said that it cleared up after it sat for just a little bit. But you said it was cloudy and then it got clear, right? Okay, so just do a little research online. So it could just be aeration. So it could be oxygen in the line. And so both cold and pressurized water, sometimes when you initially release it, it oxygenates the water more. So it'll appear cloudy and then it'll clear up. So I'm not saying that it isn't necessarily that there's something wrong, but before you potentially start contacting people or write resolutions, put in a work order if you see something that seems out of place.
People know how to put in a work order.
Next Senate meeting.
My freshman year, I was kind of going through like similar things. It's not like, I don't think it's really our fault. It's just like students in general, their parents probably haven't taught them how to behave on their own, I guess. But like I've seen a lot worse as a freshman, which is kind of understandable. But like Senator Park said, Parrish said, just bring it up to Tory. Like even if you just go into the res light office and like talk about it, somebody will be there.
Really rest like that one.
I'll also say that if it is after hours or on a day like Sunday, when housekeeping may not be here, if it's something that needs immediate attention, so let's say there's a water leak, let's say there's vomit, which to me is a health concern, right? You can call safety, let them know what the issue is. There's always an on-call person for facilities. So, right, if toilet's leaking, I don't know, water's coming from your ceiling.
Shower head with off or something.
Right, like anything like that, like you can call safety, they will contact the person who's on call with facilities, and they will come in.
I just want to clarify, I wasn't saying this issue, but I was just saying, like, when we did the dorm meeting with the RAs, they said that
there's consequences to every action. So it's just a matter of just reiterating the things to us students, especially coming back from Hurricane Granny, we forgot how to be adults and clean after ourselves. And just really stress the fact that we are communal living. We have to clean after each other. If it's mentioned in the group chat, I get it. It's probably embarrassing for someone who did that, but still be like, I'm sorry, I didn't clean up.
So regarding these behavior issues, I don't think we should keep like discussing about it because I don't think there is something that we can actually do. We can't re-educate them. What we could do is to try to do a resolution and try to push the university to take action onto these students because university has cameras all over the apartments. If they wanted to take actions over these people, they could. So this behavioral stuff, it has happened my freshman year, is happening this year, and it's gonna keep on happening because no one gets sanctioned. If we want to change this as a Senate, we should look for action. And with the water thing, we can just pass that and talk with the rest life first. And I think we could close this apartment discussion after, of course.
Remember at the beginning of the year, my RA did have a conversation. And he brought up a weird concept I never heard, where if you, like, if the trash is overflowing in the lobby or something, because obviously the tell us not. He said that if it becomes a persistent issue, or if they, I guess, feel like doing it, whatever the case may be, and how they go about executing it, there's a way, I'm saying, but there's a way that they can charge all the residents in the building. I remember that conversation, we all looked at each other and don't you dare do that, like I never want to pay for your trash. I will agree with the pro temp's comment earlier, where he said the resolution may be, I think we should first have a conversation. And then if the issue consists and there isn't any solution, I think we should say the resolution.
Let them know. So I was just gonna say, I think something we did a year or 2 years ago, we made sure that we learned how to do maintenance connection ourselves. And I know Senator took that on, and we, if we saw an issue, we put in reports as well. I think that would be something that we should start this year as well, learning how to put that in ourselves. So if Dawn, after she teaches us how to do it, if everybody can kind of remember if you see an issue, don't just complain about the issue, be a part of the solution. I think that's what we're here for. So we could just help it that way before it has to escalate to even a conversation. That we should take that.
So since Tommy had already pointed out, how about we look at it before we do anything? I said, well, let's look it up. Basically, everything I'm saying about the murky white fountain water, it's just naturally occurring air in the water. It happens anytime like some sort of like previously sealed sort of like water, like we had a fountain, a sink. As soon as it starts spurting out water, air is trapped in it, dissolves. That's why it went away, I'm guessing, if that is the case. Again, it just says usually from everything I'm seeing on different sources. Might not be, but it was a little research.
Yeah, I'll also say, I agree with Senator Compton, before we do anything about something in the water, I mean, we did just have 2 hurricanes too, so I'm sure the pipes and everything else have been under a lot of pressure. So, I mean, my water back at home is white sometimes, it's normal. I've never really got sick from it. So, I mean, if we do that with research and then it still becomes an issue, we can have a conversation, but I definitely think, it's probably just something pretty normal.
Second.
But it was discussion. Yeah, there was no.
Wait,
Yeah, but like there was.
There's no previous questions.
Like this is just open discussion. Is
Yeah,
there,
very
is not
Can we
like.
just continue on?
I mean, as far as I know, no one, like,
Okay, yeah, so we can just move on.
Yeah.
There's no motion to move.
Are we, I mean, I don't want to move on to that because I saw other hands go up.
I think that's.
I think that's.
Again, I appreciate all of you bringing up, issues that, have happened. I would like to entertain this further later. Again, I think we should start with the conversation. Start with education, actually, because again, for us who don't know how to do maintenance connection, requests like that, I think we should educate ourselves on that. And later, definitely, students who don't. There's in all fairness, at least when I first went, like, it was a little difficult. Alright, so we're gonna move on to resolution 2. Like last week, or not last week, wow. When we first talked about how Robert's rules work, again, with each piece of actual legislation, there's always a motion for it, so I would say to bring resolution 2 to the floor. Votes, seconds, vote. Chair's session motion to bring resolution 2 to the floor. Senator Parks moves. Senator Cooper seconds. All those in favor of bringing resolution 2 to the floor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It is the no.
Email. I can make it a little bigger.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure. Is that good for you?
Oh.
This is resolution number 2. The author of this resolution is President Pro Tem Parrish, sponsored by the Philanthropy Committee. The resolution related to allocating a budget for the Benedict Little Helpers event by providing legislative intent and an effective date to be resolved by the St. Louis University Student Government Union Senate, whereas the Student Government Union Senate can continue a tradition of hosting Benedict Little Helpers, whereas hosting Benedict's Little Helpers will allow the Student Government Union Senate to celebrate the Christmas season, whereas the cost for the event will cost between $300 to $450 to host for catering and supplies. Therefore, the Philanthropy Committee shall be responsible for the successful planning, budgeting, and execution of the second annual Benedict's Little Helpers event. Therefore, be hosted before the start of Thanksgiving break, and all the remaining funds shall be returned to the Student Government Union budget. Therefore, the Student Government Union Senate shall allocate up to $450 from their budget for the successful hosting of the second annual Benedict's Little Helpers event. This resolution shall go into effect immediately upon the passage in the Senate and the approval of the Vice President of Operations.
Yes. So this is this is an event we did 2 years ago, and it was just to try it out as a small event. And so we tried it out, and it was actually like a big success. I didn't know that college students like to decorate cookies as much. And we were going to do it last year, but it kind of just ran up and snuck out on us, and we didn't get to do it in time. So we were trying to do it again this year, and the Philanthropy Committee has already agreed to help plan everything out and just kind of give everybody the date. And then we kind of wanted it to also be a required event. So all the senators would be there unless you have prior commitments and you have to be excused. But it's a nice, fun event. It's pretty easy. Students like it. Celebrates the Christmas season. And kind of just takes it off. And it's only $450 for an event. When most events are around $1,000 anyway.
I just had a question for the author. So why is it between 300 and 450? Is that just like you're going to look at different stuff to kind of price range it? Like I saw like it's 380s,
I haven't gotten the full quote back from our catering manager, but it's at least $300 for the cookies for the amount of things last time. So we haven't gotten like icing, or if we're gonna do any type of tablecloths or anything else that's special that we have to buy. I just wanted to make sure that we had enough money to work with instead of having to like randomly text in the group chat trying to get an allocation for that instead. I just wanted to go towards the higher end just so that we have that, and it probably won't break 400, to be honest. But 450 was just kind of a safe ballpark, just in case.
One idea I had, I don't know how it would work. You probably know better than I would, Khristian, because you worked in the next one. Would we be able to somehow get hot chocolate or something like that donated, or would we have to pay for that? Starbucks, but that could be a good idea too, because hot chocolate would be a big seller. It's a bit cooler. Cookies and hot cocoa always go well together, so that could be a marketing thing to get more people there.
100%. So that's something that I wanted to talk about with the committee, kind of get more of the details. Literally, like the stuff to do the cookie decorating is just $300 itself. So I think it's doable, and I think it's around $50 to $60 for a giant Canberra when we went through 2 the last time. The dining services charged us, or didn't charge us for it last time, because they ended up charging students like 50 cents for a cup. But we don't have the retail dining manager that was there that did that for us last year, so it's going to probably be we just buy our own drinks. I mean, the Christmas drinks will be out November 2nd for us at Benny's anyway. So, I mean, it might not be free, but everyone can just go buy their own drinks, and then we can get like a cheap hot chocolate that's just in the thing for free. That'll probably be a little cheaper for us as well.
The floor is open to anybody.
What hot chocolate was this for us? So I can just figure it out. It's more of our community issue. Start going with this.
All those in favor of moving previous question, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. All those in favor of passing resolution number 2, please raise your hand. Okay. All those opposed? The ayes have it, resolution is passed.
I would like to amend the agenda, or I move to amend the agenda to make learning how to write a legislation after resolution.
Is there a second? Senator Craig, second. All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? After resolution.
Yes. Okay. Go back to the second.
Here's the motion to bring resolution B. All those in favor of bringing resolution 3 to the floor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
We got you. We're going to buy you glasses and do the next resolution.
This is resolution number 3. The author of this resolution is Senator Parrish, sponsored by the Philanthropy Committee. The resolution relating to the purchase of Senate shirts and providing legislative intent and an effective date was resolved by the St. Leo University. Whereas the Senate needs to have a uniform shirt, therefore the St. Leo University Student Government Union Senate shall allocate $800 as a budget to purchase Senate shirts of a design agreed upon by the Senate. This resolution shall go into effect immediately upon the passage in the Senate and approval of the Vice President of Operations.
Will the author of the resolution.
So, one of the biggest things on this is the $800 budget. I want everybody to know that the shirts from this website, I don't know if it's an approved vendor yet. I haven't gotten to ask the person I needed to ask that yet, so I don't know. But I put $800 there so we have more leeway. The website has the total for 30 shirts at $596.32, I believe. So the designs, we discussed them yesterday in Philanthropy. So we have cotton shirts, and both the cotton shirts would be green, and one of them has the white logo, one of them has the yellow logo. The other two green shirts are dry fit, and they match you same exact design as the cotton shirts, and then we have the black shirt with the white logo. So after if we pass the resolution, then we will have to agree upon a shirt. So that's all I have to say.
Like to clarify, first thing, yes, I believe like you just said. This is not a resolution to approve a design. It's the resolution to approve a budget. So we're not here to have infighting tonight. Second thing is it is a little blurry on there. The logo that is on there is the logo that is on all of your agendas. That is what the SGU Senate logo looks like. Clarify that. Yes, Senator Conley.
So this is, what was the budget per shirt? Per se? I couldn't remember.
About $19 a shirt.
Is that, do we have like vendors that it's around like $10, right? $10, $12, depending on how many like print surfaces?
So multiple things can impact the cost of apparel. Sometimes that can be the actual color of the shirt itself. When it comes to apparel, it can also depend obviously on the material. So whether it's 100% cotton, it's a dry fit, it's a blend, what have you. And then the number of colors you print with and the number of print surfaces also impacts the cost of the shirt. And we do have a number of approved vendors. Most of them are pretty competitive. I know the one that I use for orientation. So if you are aware of, right, I usually, for the last few years, have done a long sleeve white dry fit for the orientation leaders. I know this past summer that shirt cost me $12.88 a piece. I looked it up prior. T-shirts, usually for a smaller amount, and also, right, the quantity of shirts also impacts the price. But you're usually not going to see a significant price difference until you're like into the hundreds, right? So you hit 300, 500, and then again, you're going to see a jump when you hit the 1,000, what have you. So I know again for the black T-shirts that I did for the orientation leaders, that's one color, one print, no, two print surfaces. Those shirts were about $10 a piece. They were 9 something. Like I said, the white long sleeves were $12.88. I will say, because I've also done years ago, I did short sleeve dry fits, and I will say I don't feel like they look as nice. So if you ultimately do decide to go with the dry fit, I probably lean towards a long sleeve versus a short sleeve. But yeah, so lots of things at the end of the day can impact the cost of a shirt. I mean, I've also seen where, you know, organizations, clubs have done shirts where they have 5 colors, and right, you are then paying like $20 a t-shirt. So a lot of things that can impact that price. But essentially, like, that's for sure.
Senator Parrish.
Yes, so the website I used was called Fresh Prints. It was easy to get on. It was easy to remove the background from the logo, so that way we can put it on the shirt without a big white background behind the logo. And again, like Luigi said, this is just allocating money. This is not us going over T-shirt designs. I know we wanted to go with T-shirts this year because it's a cheaper option, and we can get more if for some reason we have to have more appointments this year. So if you have any designs that you want to bring up, if you email them to me, and we can definitely go with long sleeve. This is just initial designs, so that's what I want.
One other thing for those of you wondering why I also said at the beginning of the year, like the name tags, this all comes down to branding and putting a face and look to the events that we help out with, to events on campus. So it's not that money, there's actually.
I'd like to make a motion to, Frank would kill me, thank God he's coming. I'd like to, I'm gonna move to amend resolution number 3 to lower the allocation amount down to $650. Probably more around the price range for our vendors.
All those in favor of lowering the allocated amount from 800 to 650, say aye. Aye. All those opposed?
I'd like to amend resolution number 3 to read that the Philanthropy Committee shall be responsible for brainstorming designs and presenting it to the Senate.
Is there a second? Senator Brown, second. All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Senator Wolf.
Yeah, I know that we're talking about.
Just to briefly go over the design, just out of experience last year. We've typically won these out for a lot of required events and in the field. But we live in Florida. We don't have a winter. We don't have a genuine winter. It gets hot. So if we can get short sleeve, that'd be great. But the shirts last year were great. They were dry fit. It wasn't terrible, but I think short sleeve would be better given the weather that we mainly get. Because let's be honest, it can still be 90 degrees in December.
I kind of agree with John on being a former OM for the past 2 years. It's summer when we do orientation training, and it's like you have to wear those long sleeves, but like from experience, the long sleeves are like very not thin, but like you could feel like it's cool, like you could feel it, which is kind of like to the long sleeves, and it does look nice.
All those in favor of moving the previous question, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All those in favor of passing resolution number 3, please raise your hand. All those against? None? The resolution is passed. No, I appreciate that, guys. We've been trying to get a shirt for weeks, and hurricanes keep knocking us back, so I'm happy with it. Moving on to the next point of the meeting, which I believe is the how to.
Okay. Probably not. Oh, it is. Aha! I did pull that. Great. So I know a couple people have reached out have reached out to Luigi or myself, or Dawn or Frank about how to write a piece of legislation. And it's going to be the same for resolution and bills on how to write it. There might be some different changes for constitutional amendments or anything like that. You just have to read in the statutes for that. But I'm just going to go over like the basic stuff. Everybody see this for juniors? Welcome to Zoom. That's a great thing. All right, so the top part is pretty easy. So overall, you just kind of have to, you can ask the secretary or the VPO. Maybe. Yeah, whoa. All right, so we would be on like resolution number 4, right? So this time you would just change it to, oh, not the, whatever. Right, so it's resolution number 4. If you have the same number as somebody else, the secretary or the VPO will just send it back to you and ask you to change it, or we can amend it on the floor. It's not that big of a deal. And then you just put the author. So the author is going to be your one person who wrote the bill. Mainly, I believe it's only one person can be the author via our statutes. So only one person can be the author, but you can have an infinite amount of sponsors, but the author has to agree to the sponsors being on there. So if you kind of have similar ideas with the author, you want to help contribute to it, you can do that as well. So we'll say the author, the person, his purpose. It could be his sponsor. Yeah, that's right. So when you write it, you'll just put like the little shorthand for their title. So Senator Perkins, capitalized name, which I typed in one hand, it's hard. The sponsor, we'll put Stan in, right? And then that's all you have to do for this section. If there's more, you just put them in, and then you also want to do it in like, you should do it in alphabetical order or the how high their titles are, but that's not really that big of a deal. The more important stuff you're going to get to how it should be entitled, and so this is the long form title of your resolution or bill. So you're going to do a resolution relating to, and what's a topic that we want to talk about? Anybody? Food pantry. Residence halls, great. So just do a residence halls. What's an issue with residence halls? Yes, residence halls, both being 30. There you go. All right, and so you're going to do that, and then after that, you're going to do by providing legislative intent and an effective date will just be there. So you're providing legislative intent, which is what we are doing in this section. So talking about what the issue is and how we're addressing it, and then your effective date. I'll go into that as well. So when you get into your legislative intent, you just want to talk about what the issue is. The more specific you are, usually the least amount of questions you'll get about it. So whereas, I don't know, I'll use my apartment, but apartment 5 is dirty, right? It'd be as simple as that. It could be as long as you need to, right? Where it's dirty. Whereas we have had multiple conversations. I'm doing shorthand, so it's not like professional writing, but so whereas we have had multiple convos, and then you can get rid of the next whereas if you don't need it. And then your therefore is addressing like how you're going to fix something. So your whereas is what's the issue, your therefore is this is what we're going to do. So therefore, we ban students. So you get problem solved, right? And so your effective date, you don't typically change this one as much unless there is a specific reason for it. So last year we did statute revision. So so instead of it saying effective, so I'm going to effect immediately, it would be effective, go into effect until 2090. And then you're going to add and upon the passage in the Senate and the approval of the Vice President of Operations. It will look different for the bill. It's going to be the signature of the president for the effective date portion. Or you can even add like a nullification or this shall go into effect. So this is actually the right way to write it. So if you wanted to end in 2090, the 2090, this is when the resolution would die. But if you wanted to say like, oh, it shouldn't go into effect until this time, shall not go into effect until 2090. And that's how you would write those. Is there any questions?
Okay.
So Luigi will be able to send it out again. But yeah, and then if you have questions, like Dawn goes through all my legislation usually, and like she's like the grammar police. She's really helpful with that. But you can come to myself. I know Ethan has some experience. Makai, all of our returning centers have some experience. If you want to talk to them, Maddie as well is another one. So a lot of our EBO members are centers as well. If you have questions, feel free to ask. And like I said, it can be as complex or as simple as you want. Usually, a little more details you give in your legislation, the less questions you get about it. So that's why usually mine are longer because I don't have to ask. And that's the answer.
Anybody else? Now's my next question. Obviously, anytime you can. Does anybody else have any other questions relating on how to write legislation? As of right now, I believe like actual locations where you can find templates. I believe I uploaded it during the summer on the Senate Engaged Video profile. Hopefully, all of you have a member on there. If not, please. If you go to the profile, if you go to documents, I think, and then somewhere in the folder, it should say like 2024, 2025 resolution or bill template. And I believe I also sent it in one of the first emails. I believe you sent it in one of the first emails of this year before we moved, I think, into the email. But yeah, if you guys need it, please ask. I'll happily send it to you. Not should be on Engage Video. Thank you, President Pro Tem, for doing the Moving on to. Okay. So I have a couple of announcements. One big thing that is not. So it was brought to my attention after bingo by a couple of people. I believe some senators were there that night. I don't remember who was there. It was brought to my attention that some of you were not acting in the best behavior. I'm not here to be your father. I'm not going to scold you. I'm not going to embarrass you or something. My job is to correct actions like that to make sure we stay on course. I believe I know who some people were. If you don't know, I know. You remember at the end of the day, you guys are student leaders. Remember at the end of the day, you are representatives of the person. That's what you like or not. I believe there was an analogy last year, Dawn, for OLs in the fall. They use like fish bowls, right? No, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So the analogy is now that you are in this position, your life is like a fish bowl. So anybody can be tapping on glass and looking at you at all times. Again, I'm not gonna yell at anybody. What I am gonna say is, he's better, be better. I do not tolerate this behavior. I know the staff of this university does not tolerate the behavior. It takes a lot to embarrass me to hear that some of the senators are so I'm going to ask that we not be like this from now on. I was also told that with online presence, I don't remember exactly who said it or what happened, but the same thing goes for online presence. Again, the analogy. Let us behave the best way we can, since we are representatives of the university, student leaders on campus. The last thing I need to hear is one of the senators or some of the senators are being inappropriate online, whether they're posting pictures about themselves or if they're talking in a certain manner. If you're going to do that type of stuff, at the bare minimum. But yeah, so that was one thing I really need to address. Couple other things. I know with the hurricane and everything, we have been drawn off course, and that is okay. Get back to normal. For those of you who forgot and don't know, When it comes to missing the Senate meeting, the formal way to do it is to go onto the Senate Needs Leo profile. Under forms, there should be a Senate absence form. The people who look at that is from temp, me and the secretary, attendance. I believe the minimum requirement to send it in is 6 hours before the meeting. And it'll either get approved or denied. If you send it in after 6 hours, or
If it's 6 hours, like 6 hours or less before the meeting, then it would be
automatic. So please, from now on, when it comes to, if you know you're, and not saying like, don't miss a meeting. If you know you're gonna miss a meeting, obviously plan ahead, put the form through Engage Leo so we can approve it properly. And then remember also, each senator is allowed, 2 excuse.
Yeah, one excuse.
One
Or
excuse.
two excuse, one excuse.
2 excuse absences, 1 excuse absence. And 3 tardies is 1 excuse.
Yeah, so anytime that if you leave early for any reason, or if you're late for any reason, those add up. So if you get 3 of those count as 1 absence instead of 2 absences. You literally would have to be late or leave early every single time to get all 3 of your absences. So it shouldn't be an issue. Don't worry about it. But be on time. Thank you again.
I believe also with the revised statutes this year, being late is counted after roll call and or
After roll call is finished or 5 minutes after the meeting. Whatever comes first.
So if you're going to be late, try to make it before roll call. But you're counted late after roll call. And then another thing on there with the service hours, office hours. Hurricane stuff, all that, don't worry about office hours, stuff happens. Starting, kind of coinciding. So with this upcoming Monday, please make sure that we are doing our office hours. If we have given it to you, talk about that. When you do your office hours, that is community service hours. And plus, obviously, you need the law that the senators are doing office hours. That is also another form on the Senate Engaged Legal Profile. And I believe it should be turned up. How you do it?
You click on your name icon, you click my hours or my service hours, and then you press submit, and the organization you submit under is Senate. You can also double submit it for if you're part of a fraternity, sorority, or any other organization that requires community service hours. You can also put it under them as well separately. So you'll have to discuss. But that's it. But you usually show them next week.
And if you guys need help, and then that's the next one.
Yeah. So these are all the people that sent me their office hours. So if your name's not on here, I need your office hours. And it needs to be a different time than somebody else because we're trying to spread everybody out. Preferably, if you can do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Nobody likes Tuesday, Wednesday. But I just need those times for people. So I don't think I'm missing Senator Salas. Mativa and Joseph and Claude. Yes.
I send you my officers. I don't think you would like that. You want one specific hour in which?
Yes, we got one specific hour on any day that you can do every week. So that's different than anybody else.
Can be at the same time.
Preferably not, just so we can spread people out.
Yeah, that's why I send you like
Okay, and then I'll just
do we have this document for
I can send it out tonight. I'll have to use your, you can send it out tonight. So if you haven't done it, I'll give everybody editing access. Just don't mess with it, don't screw around with it. I'm gonna save an extra copy just in case. But add yourself in there. Don't change anybody else's time. Just pick a time. And yeah, pick a different time than somebody else if you haven't not on there. Otherwise, Judiciary said that you're going to get your first one already for the year if you're not completed by next Wednesday. Your hours are
so obviously, but once we have all our office hours lined up and everything, it'll be sent out to everybody, and I think we're on the link tree last year.
Yeah, we're trying to talk about the shake now.
So obviously, like, people know what the office hours are. Another announcement. At the previous meeting, I also brought up one of the required events is Moonlight Madness, and that was to celebrate the basketball season for the university. That is not happening. Hurricane ruined it, so don't worry about that. Yeah. So, moving on to
Yeah, they start this, not this week, but Monday of next week.
Senator Parrish.
So early voting started this past Tuesday in the state of Florida. If you're not a Florida resident, you can mail in your ballot to your home state. If you can vote, if you're registered to vote, I highly encourage you to vote. This is a very important election. So yeah, just get out there and vote.
Yes, I'm going to be working with the VPO for a shared calendar for all of SU, so that will include the executive board, CAB, and Senate. So we'll have all the CAB events, executive board events, all the meetings. So like chairs, you'll have to put your meetings in as well, and then all the office hours will be in there. It's just so that we know, like, if we have to use the office for anything else, it's not, we can figure out something else instead, and we know who's in the office to help with certain things if the student does reach out. The more spread out we are with our office hours, that helps out as well. And if there's nothing for you to do in the office hours, Dawn might ask you to help work the food pantry, which is kind of across from Dawn's office in the SAD. And your office hours are done in the SQ office. So you can sit there, do schoolwork. If a student comes in and asks a question, go ahead, help them out. Or if you need help with anything, once you know how to do maintenance connection, you can help them put in, work tickets as well. So.
Okay, and also this week we had a meeting with the officers. We have talked, and we believe that it's important that all of us read the Roberts Rule, try to learn the best of our abilities. I know I'm supposed to be the one that knows them the best. I won't lie to you. I do not know them yet, but I'm trying. But it's for the best of our interest to have the best Senate possible. So I'm not sure how to say the word. I know that I was thinking in Spanish at the moment. Sorry. But I urge you maybe to try to learn them.
I believe all senators should have their Robert cheat sheet. Please don't lose it. If you lost it, I believe I have more copies.
There's a guest, Manuela, something.
Hello, my name is Manuela. I am here on behalf of the Women's Cross Country teams. We are doing a fundraiser to be able to pay for our meets, uniforms, hormones, food, hotel, entry fee to races and scholarships for. As many of you know, our team got cut like 2 years ago, and due to that, we now that it's back, we're trying to raise funds to be able to, get our team back to where it was a couple of years ago. Of course, it's hard because this team, cut it for a reason. So, if any of you is interested in being part of growing our team, once again, you can come to me after the meeting, and I have this debrief about your name down, and you can donate to us. Thank you.
I have two things. On Friday, the Square team is hosting a pink out event at the women's volleyball game. At 7 probably. And another thing too, next Tuesday is the first women's basketball game at home. At, I believe 6 o'clock for the pink out Friday, Bowman Center. Make sure you wear pink. It, like I said, it's for like breast cancer awareness. And yeah, next Tuesday, first women's home basketball game, I believe at 5 o'clock.
I move that we adjourn.
All those in favor of joining this meeting until next week, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Good night, everybody. I joined the meeting as a.
Wait, Jake. Thank God.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you're staying for a TikTok.
Will.
Yeah. Yeah, if you are part of the philanthropy committee, you have to stay back as well for a photo. For the photo. Oh, I probably stopped recording.
You're so tired. What? Oh, what happened to your back? Oh.